All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Social Therapy. I have a wonderful guest today, Katie McCall. Katie Archer. I apologize. I've been calling her Katie McCall my entire life, and I honestly probably still have it in my phone unless it's updated because of Apple.
Yeah, most of mine.
No disrespect to your husband, who I've met, a great human being, serviceman of what we call the great United States of America. So, all due respect, Miss Archer. I will get it correct.
It's okay.
How you been?
Doing good.
Yeah?
How about you?
I've been hanging in there. It's been cold in them granite sheds.
Yeah,
It's one of those, like, your body doesn't know if it's going from a sauna situation because you're hot in the office and you step outside and work with a freezing cold granite and your body's, like, shocked. And then you step immediately back into, like, 80 degrees and sweat and then do it again all day. So
like
it's
Camp
just
Harmony. Do you wear a jacket when you go outside?
God,
You know,
that took me back. I just
have the jacket.
had so many memories. It's Camp Harmony. It's still going
Shout
strong.
out to Camp Harmony.
It's
Yeah,
still
my
going
nephew
strong.
plays out there.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's fun. He plays on Saturdays.
How about that? When does, and I'm not sidetracking, but when does sign-ups, when do they do that? Like, not quite sure. Okay, we're setting up for baseball right now.
We're not to that age yet. When we get to that age, I can let you know.
Yeah, we're setting up for baseball right now. We're about to start Little League. I think February 1st is when we're having our coaches
Because
meeting.
you did T-ball.
Yeah, I've done T-ball 2 years, first with my son, and then actually Cyrus 2 years now because Esther didn't play last year. So this will be Esther's first year at T-ball, and Cyrus is going to coach's pitch.
Okay.
And
So you're going to be the pitcher?
Yeah, I'm going to have to. And I've been trying to prep him because he's got the ability. We live in an on-demand society, and I try my best to get out and work with him as busy as I am with all the things that we do. So I worry that he's going to get out there and catch one right in the face. And it's going to make me, because as a parent, you feel that pain now. You sense it. You literally sense it. So that's
from the aunt standpoint, I've felt that before too. I'm like, oh, I just want you to do it. I want you to do it because it's gonna break my heart if you don't. Not for me, but for you, kind of thing.
It's a life challenge, and that's what sports are. So
that's why it's the greatest thing in the world.
It is, and Cyrus loves baseball, which works out for me because it's the only one I
love
truly
too.
know. Yeah, that was the one that I was like grounded in. But, you know, we got the basketball goal from Santa for...
Okay.
Yeah. So, Christmas, Santa came with the basketball goal, and he's really enjoyed shooting hoops, too. So, Mama, I'm sure, is very happy to hear all of this.
Yeah, I bet she is stoked for that.
She gets out there and gets to work with him a little bit. But, yeah, it's been really good. It was a good holiday. We're headed into 2024 with all engines firing. I feel like I've been running 90 to nothing.
It's like it came in hot.
It did. Sure. It did. How's your start of your year?
I feel like I went back into work that day and it was like, hello.
Yeah,
you were gone for a week. It's like all piled back up. But yes, but it's great.
Good. So
I always say that busy's better than bored. So
what is it that you do? What do you facilitate?
I am an instructor at Athens Technical College, greatest place in the world. I teach a first semester seminar class, which is like the class that everyone has to take when they come in. But my main course is called Interpersonal Relations. And it's resumes, interviews. We kind of start out and I show you how to look for a job. And if you don't already have anything set up, like when you get out, we try to get you that interview. We'll do a job application.
That's awesome.
We'll write a resume. We'll practice all the interviews things too. And then once you get into that job, I teach you like, this is the kind of person that you have to be to keep a job. So it's like job retention, professionalism, things like that. And I actually had a class that, it was all guys in my class, and not a single one of them knew how to tie a necktie. For some reason, I think that's a life skill. I don't know.
Is.
I think because I've watched my dad growing up, like, tying neckties.
You definitely had a very good idol, a role model for that. Yeah.
I went home and I got all of Bristol's ties out of his closet. And he was like, what are you doing with like 15 neckties? I was like, I'll bring them back maybe, but if somebody needs one, you might not get it back.
Yeah.
And I've given them away.
We'll get some more.
Yeah, I'm like, we'll get some more.
You're a good-hearted person.
But we do stuff like that. And I actually just started this semester because I'm certified in like health and PE. Mm-hmm. We have a new program at Athens Tech. It's called the Dual Achievement Program. Okay. And so, like, if high school really kind of necessarily wasn't going well, I guess you could say. Okay. You come to Athens Tech and you can get, like, a TCC and things like that on top of your high school diploma.
TCC.
Certificate. So like you get TCCs and like welding and like licenses type things.
I always ask questions because I do. If I don't know,
well, I didn't know. I learned a lot about the whole technical college system.
That's awesome.
When I got there.
So a TCC is like when you're certified to weld or you're certified to be a mechanic.
If you get a mechanic's degree, you have all these different licenses that you can get while you're trying to get that degree.
That's awesome.
But like you have to have a PE and a health credit.
Right.
So they called me and they were like, Katie, you're like my go-to. You're certified in this stuff. Would you be willing to do it? I'm like, yes.
Absolutely.
Count me in. So we did a workout this morning. I am in this. And the kids, or not kids, they're adults, but like the people in my class, they are profusely sweating. I'm on the floor doing crunches and stilettos and the whole
working it
night.
in,
And they're
dude.
like, Miss Archer, are you going to wear this every class? I'm like, well, yeah, because I have another class. But I might bring something to change because I didn't realize how hot it was going to be. Because today was like our first like full-on workout.
Yeah.
And I'm in a blazer and dress pants.
Look, I'm sure you crushed it too. I'm
I
sure
don't know about
you
that.
had.
I realized how out of shape I am.
Look, that was a realization I had going out and playing for my first time basketball again. Bro, I maybe went up and down 4 or 5 times. And I'm a prideful man at times, especially when it comes to athletics.
You're going to figure it out and then die later.
Ooh, dude, I felt my chest rumbling. I was like, am I that bad out of shape?
We did a thing. It was everyone from like my year, well, like 2 years younger than me, all the way up to like Dee Dee Downer. Mm-hmm. Is she your age?
Yeah.
She was like,
shout
out to Dee Dee because she is like top of the line baller. So Coach Jones called us and we had on Sundays like alumni versus like the high school team. I'm talking about we were sucking wind. I mean, everyone was like,
that's great.
Everybody,
dude.
Except Sarah Fuller. Sarah Fuller was on it. She was in shape. She's
still
in that world.
Yeah.
But it was like my face was red, my lips were white, I was shaky.
Yeah,
I got home and I was like,
I felt
I don't even have the energy to take a shower, but I'm like so sweaty I have to. And I was like shaky.
Yeah.
It's like, am I that old?
Dude,
because I'm not old.
I don't feel like I am, but I am. My body's starting to tell me these things. So, yeah, I didn't realize that. We joke, but I picked my kid up. Like, I was laying in bed. The kid wants to get in the bed, middle of the night or whatever. And I just reach over and grab my kid and, lift him into bed. I don't know if I pulled something, tore something. I spent 2 weeks fighting my pride and not going to deal with it, like at a physical therapist or anything like that. I was like, surely I'm not that old. But yeah I was in pain. I was in pain for a little while. My body is. My mind and my heart.
I always say you didn't take care of your body. I didn't.
Yeah.
Like I should have, and I'm paying for it now.
No, I am lucky enough to just be springy, but it's wearing off. Mm-hmm. Like I'm getting to the age to where I can't just jump off a truck. And I've been hearing those guys tell me for so many years, you better enjoy that because them knees ain't going to do that forever. I can sense it. Like it's on the verge. I'm getting it's starting to get sketchy. Like I'll jump and be like, I might not need to do that.
Is today the day?
Is today the day? Is the time bomb going to go off? But yeah, growing up in Elbert County, by the way, Elbertonian shout out for
best place
all
in the
the
world.
I'm telling you, like I genuinely love this place, especially coming back from all the traveling that I did. All I did was the Southeast, like South Carolina, North Georgia. I went to Atlanta, stuff like that. But Elberton, it has a very unique feel to it. Even now, like. I just had a conversation with someone recently. If you drive from South Georgia all the way up here, like there are a lot of very impoverished, hurting communities that are way worse off than we are, and we almost don't see it. Like we don't appreciate the genuine goodness that this place has comparative to what it could be, or how it is literally just a few miles from here.
There's just good people here.
That's the thing.
You can't beat the people.
Yeah.
I feel like anything in life, doesn't matter what you're doing, where you're working, who you're around, it's the people. The people you hang out with, the people you're around, the people you work with, the people you go to church with, things like that are what makes things what they are.
That's life.
You can have the best job in the world and work with people you didn't enjoy being around and you're not going to enjoy it.
That is 100% true. I've never heard truer words spoken, honestly, because I've done the exact same thing at Lander. And taking job after job. This is especially right before Mom had gotten cancer. Mm-hmm. So I was like trying to find where I could make extra income. I was doing the school thing and trying to work for the school. So it would like co-op itself. Yeah. They'd know my class schedules. They would work with me, whatever. I had a multitude of jobs that I hated because of the people that I was with. Especially, I ain't gonna call anybody by name, but I was working, I guess it'd be secretarial work for like the maintenance thing. And I was not well off money wise. I mean, my family's always provided.
What is the definition of well off?
Well, the thing
Honestly.
is, I ate and I paid my rent, but it wasn't much after that. I wasn't going partying. I wasn't out at the clubs, spending $100. I couldn't do none of that. Everybody else was headed out. I'd be like, all right, y'all have fun. I'll be here just chilling, playing video games. That's literally what I did. I played games. But in doing all of that, I realized that I lost my moment. I lost my point. Lander, the struggles that I went through and where I was at the secretary, yes. Working at that secretary's job, they ended up like ousting me for hours because for whatever reason it was like 2 girls and I that were on rotations of shifts, and I ended up not getting worked in for like 2 weeks straight and about didn't pay my bills over it. And it came down to some pettiness of like they just didn't jive with me. So it was usually 2 people in rotation, so it was just them taking rotations on top of each other and not letting me come to work. And I was like, okay, I can't do this. So I went and worked at the theater. Sarah Fuller got me on with Eddie Shaw. Shout out to Eddie and Frank and the guys. Some of the best people in the world worked there. And we had some rough times, like 4 a.m. setting up stages in the cold and it wasn't a job I thought I would enjoy. But the people and the bouncing. We were literally bouncing around, listening to music and having fun, freezing to death at 4 a.m., setting a stage up for a concert that's going to happen at like 10 to noon. And then afterwards, we have to wait 10, 11 o'clock at night when the whole thing stops and then break it back down again. So it's a full endeavor. Yeah. But it was so much fun because of the people. And that was when I started trying to take that into every career job that I started taking. I was like, if I don't enjoy the environment I'm in, I'm not staying. And I took that to heart. And now I have a wonderful job at Calvary Artworks. I wouldn't trade it for the world because the people I work with are good people. People who come to work and do what need to be done.
That's what
they don't complain.
We love about professionalism in general.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, kudos to you teaching people something that is an actual, and I'm not saying that education as a whole isn't an actual life skill, but being able to apply something in a factual way that resonates with other human beings in a college setting. Like, hey, this is how you retain a job. You may be the first person I've talked to that is doing work of this nature. Because I mean, we had counselors, I remember, but I don't remember having someone that was like, Coach Clinkscales. Back in middle school,
him.
Coach Clink, you know what I'm saying? But other than him, outside of that individual, I didn't have someone be like, this is how you shake a man's hand. This is what needs to be done.
Number one thing I talk about on the first day is I make everybody stand up.
How you shake
hands.
And
I'm kind of nervous on the first day, just like everybody else is. And I'm like, I hope my hand's not sweaty before I go shake their hand because they're going to judge me the rest of the time they're in my class.
Yep.
But my daddy has always said that, like, how you carry yourself is what's going to matter.
What was it like growing up in a house with Mr. McCall?
Nothing better.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I can imagine.
There is not one negative thing you could say about him or my mom.
I know
I'm biased, but like anybody that's ever worked for him, worked with him.
Y'all are good people.
He is a phenomenal man.
Yep.
And I'm so glad that my husband has gotten to be in that life with him because he's learned so much from my dad and like.
Is he working on the political side? Is your husband going to try to do any of the...
So Bristol works for Sterling Gray Quarries, which is Star.
Gotcha.
So he runs the quarry out here.
Gotcha.
But now when, Daddy's with Farm Bureau now.
Yep.
And so he's gone most of the week. Mm-hmm. And so Bristol's having to like do some of the farm stuff. So he enjoys it. So he's getting into that a little bit too.
That's awesome.
So he's kind of like, he's done the military. Now he's like doing the rock business. And now he told me when we met, because I was like, I'm going to be a teacher.
Yep.
When I knew, I was like, he was it. When I finally knew that, I was like, he's it. Sat him down and I was like, we can go anywhere you want to go.
Yeah.
But I had not brought him home yet.
Yeah.
And I said, let me show you my hometown. Let me show you Overton. Let me really show you Fort Zonia. Let me show you where I want to live, what I want to do, things like that. I said, I want you to meet my family.
Let me pitch it to you. Let me
like salesman this thing all the way through. I was like, there's this. And so he came. It was an eventful day. My dad, fun story, it was the hottest day of the year, Chaz. Hottest, you don't do hogs the hottest day of the year, right? Like you don't, I don't know the technical word. word. You don't.
Slaughtered?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Bristol pulls up, and Al and my daddy are slaughtering a hog on the hottest day of the year, and you don't do that. I think they planned it till this day. They won't admit that they did.
Mm-hmm.
But he was thrown into the fire quick.
I bet.
And he got in there.
He got in there.
It. He did. And he was going back to my house in Royston where I was living, and he was supposed to go back with me that night. And he's like, "I'm just gonna go home."
Mm-hmm.
I was like home? And he was like, "Yeah, I'm going back to my house." I was like, "Really, y'all just ruined all this. I finally bring somebody home, and y'all run him off that quick."
I understand.
But he told me, he said, I'm not going to work in the granny shed. Because where he comes from, that's not a thing.
Yeah.
He's from Jackson County, and like that's not a thing really there.
Yeah.
He's like, that's not what I want to do. So he's not technically in a shed, but he is in the granny industry. 100%. Yes.
How can you not be in this
And
town?
he works for Mark Adams and them and loves them.
That's awesome.
So like you can't get any better.
I ain't never heard a whole lot bad about the Adams family over there.
They're stellar.
I've never got to meet them personally and get to know them, but I've always heard high praises of people that I do hold.
They're all over your church too.
Yeah.
Also, if anybody needs a church, Fort Sinai
Fort
Baptist
Sinai
is where it's
Baptist.
at.
Yeah.
Youth program is growing. Everything's great.
Everything's going really well.
Plug in there.
Absolutely. Well, I've told Pastor Andrew, I was like, if you want to come talk to me, I would love to. I was like, but I'll be honest, my podcast is very varying. I was like, it's got a range to it. I was like, but if you're willing to have theological, yes, I think.
He is super intelligent.
I love it, dude. But that's what I appreciate about him, is that he is strict about what he preaches and the words that he uses and how he uses them.
Yes.
Because it matters.
That's another thing about people.
It matters.
The people there.
Yeah.
Make you want to just keep coming back. It's just
well,
home. It's down home.
As soon as we walked back through the door and I seen Shannon and Todd and they started treating me like I was still 15 and 16 years old, I was like, I love it. I'm not going to lie. Home. I love it, man. It's good people. But growing up on a farm with Mr. I ain't gonna lie to you, they definitely slaughtered that hog on purpose on the day you showed up. And I understand exactly why they did it, because I have a daughter myself now.
I'm kind of feeling that too. I
get it.
Oh yeah, we will do all the things.
Oh yeah, all the things. There's going to be problems. If y'all hear a bump, my dog is also downstairs, so if there's a random noise, that may be what it is. But yeah, it's been a wild adventure doing this podcast and coming through the EC experience. But people like you, being a part of this community and having grown up, I mean, you did stellar in your travels too. Can I ask you about that? Like your Emmanuel experiences and what you got to do?
Before I get in that, thank you for having me on here. I have watched every episode and I'm so proud of you for doing this. This is a huge risk that you took.
Hey.
And it has turned out wonderful.
It's been
I've
fun.
Enjoyed it. And
Thank you.
Enjoyed getting to know everybody. And some people I didn't even know.
There's a lot of people in this community. Just like the episodes, I have a very eclectic friend group. I know very many people from
all walks of life.
All walks of life. And I don't judge them for anything that they've done.
There's so much beauty in that.
Well, I don't think that I have a right. And I mean that.
Absolutely.
I don't hold my nose any higher than any other human being. We all go end up in the dirt. That's the way it's going to be. And I don't...
I hope I'm in the sky, too.
You know, but...
I'm in the dirt, but in the sky
absolutely.
at the same time.
I can't understand, like, a mental of seeing any other human, because their struggles. They're all going through things. And I could have been any other person that you see out there. Like, there's many cases that
still could be.
And still could be. Life can change so quickly. So in these little journeys that I have, I always let people speak freely. And at times, I've actually been on the other side of this mic and be like, I don't know how this is going to go, but we're going to see. And I ride because, again, I've been in many strange situations in my life, unintentionally and intentionally at times, and just kind of work my way through it. And they always end up being real good stories. And I was like, well, we might as well just put a camera up and have those same conversations.
I always say you're not going to regret the things that you did. You're going to regret things you didn't do.
Yeah. So I had been playing
around.
around.
Makes you who you are.
Yeah. Well, there's some stories I can't tell on the podcast for sure. We all have them, you know?
Yeah.
But that's the life experiences that get you perspective.
What makes you who you are.
Well, you get some real perspective in those extremes if you survive them. And so, you got to make sure that you don't make the worst decisions too, because there were a lot of times that I could have made better decisions in my life, for sure.
Sure.
But I got through by the skin of my teeth at times, and having got through it, I won't go back and make those mistakes again. You know, like I'm not going to revert and do what got me in that point of life and be like,
and look at you now. Beautiful home,
look,
beautiful family.
I appreciate you.
Good job.
Trying to
good
raise,
at your job.
But I'm trying my best to do that. Like I say, I have 3 objectives: good husband, good dad, good human. Like those 3 things. Well, those things I intend to do that every day. I just want to be good to as many people as I can because there's no reason not to be. I don't have a reason to give. Speaking of, your book, I have it. I got lost in translation. I started the path. I'm starting the 30-day transition of like being a blessing for somebody every day in some manner, and I so much love that.
It's
like,
fun, isn't it?
Thank you so much for taking your time to do something like that and try to spread some positivity. Me. Like, there's too few people that are trying to do good things for no other reason than to be good. Like, there's too few people trying to do that.
There's so much negativity.
Yeah. Well, that's what draws.
And so much pain and so
that's
much
what gets
hurt.
the likes. That's what gets the.
Yeah.
I mean,
just it's not hard. Like, it's not hard to just if you think something negative about somebody, you don't have to tell them.
No.
But if you think something good about somebody, you should tell them.
Yes.
It's so easy.
Yes.
And there's a lot of things in life I feel like that we think about doing, and then later on we're like, man, I was going to do this for them and I forgot.
Yeah.
Because we are so busy in the hustle and the bustle and.
It's hard to slow down sometimes and take the moment.
You're in a hurry and you're trying to get your coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
But like, you don't know that could be their 3rd job of the day that they're working. Like, there's no reason for you to be rude to them.
Yes.
And I see that so often. I'm like, oh, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
Like,
be good to each other.
Yeah, you don't know what they're going through. You wouldn't. I try to live. My daddy, talking about growing up with my mom and dad, they always raised us as pretty much the golden rule. Like, if you don't want someone to treat you like that, don't do that.
Yeah.
And like, go out of your way. My daddy has always said it best: you treat the CEO of a company just as good as you treat the janitor, and you treat him exactly the same. And I have always tried to live by that, just because that's how he is. And I'm lucky because I have them as my parents. Like, I got lucky. I count my blessings every day for them, and they are still. I'm grown. You grown, we all grown. And your parents are the same way.
Yeah.
They still are here. Like, you need something, you call them, they're there.
My mom found out I have a wife who takes very good care of me. Love her to death. My mother will hear that I am sick, and I will still have Gatorades and soup dropped on the front porch. We'll have.
Well, that's Kim Bragg, because what better person in the world is there?
She is going to show up and help you regardless if you want it or not. Sometimes she's going to show up and help you. And I'm trying to keep her safe because, you know, she's dealing with her own stuff in life. Like, she's got her own medical issues that she deals with. And I'm like, Mom, we're okay. Like, you just be okay. Stay at the house. Don't get out. Yeah, and she's like, going to Dollar General and be bopping around in there and getting the things she needs.
In the bus.
Yeah, in the bus. Still driving the bus. That bus is probably taking more kids home than actual buses in Elbert County. If it could, it would tell you stories. It definitely would. It survived a lot. But it's so fun being able to connect with folks like you from the past of, like, I got to watch you grow up being an athlete. I got to watch Katie McCall, the athlete, Katie McCall, the aspiring
trying to be like your mama.
Well,
that's what I was trying to do.
The softball athlete, and then going to Emmanuel, and then finding that love of lacrosse where you had a fire like I had never seen. Like, you could see it. You could see it.
It was the greatest thing. Oh my gosh.
It was fun to witness from afar. I never got to watch you play, which I regret. I wish I had taken the time to stop and come down and see a game while you were playing. But how was it? Because lacrosse is a foreign sport to me. I don't know anything about it.
It was a foreign sport to me too. I had no idea even what it was. So my roommate at the time played, and she was the goalie. And so kind of how it all happened is
very similar mom story. You know that, right?
Yes,
you know it's similar. Okay, I was about to say it's about the same.
She was kind of in a slump. You have slumps in lacrosse just like you do in baseball. Everybody's been in every sports slump. They happen. It's just what it is. Golf. There's some for real slumps in golf.
Golf will hurt your feelings.
Yes, it will.
Yes.
But so we had an intramural field, and she was like, Katie, I need you to come help me. And I was like, all right, I'm down. So lacrosse ball is like, I don't know if you've ever held one, but it's like a baseball.
Yeah.
It's a rubber baseball.
Yeah,
it's hard as a rock. And so she was in the gun. I was picking up and just throwing it like a baseball. I was on a pitcher's mound, just trying to get it by her. And there was a stick laying there. I was like, let me just pick Let me just see. And so I just was trying to figure it out or whatever, and the coach at the time caught wind of it and kind of did some background to see, like, if I was an athlete
she
or
can swing a
anything.
stick. She played softball. Wait a minute, this could work. Yeah.
And so she called me and she was like, I'm so-and-so. I want you to come to my practice one day. I was like, what? I'm not even sure. We don't have this where I'm from.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like me and Marla Utz are the only people from this town that have, like, been
Facts.
born and raised here that have played it, because she played at Kennesaw.
Facts.
And so I went up to practice that day, and I had no idea what I was doing. I mean, it was like watching chickens running around. You know how T-ball's like cats running around?
I know exactly what you're talking
That's what
about.
I felt like it, because I had no idea.
Yeah.
So, but you know me, I'm kind of like...
You're going to figure it out.
I'm going to figure it out.
You're going to figure it out.
So I bought, you know the yellow books that are like whatever for dummies?
Mm-hmm. Lacrosse for dummies.
I did. I bought one. And we had a little bitty TV, like, I swear it was like the size of a computer screen, in our dorm. And I would watch Duke and North Carolina play lacrosse every day between classes, and I would read about it.
You had a fire.
I did. I was like, I'm going to figure this out. This is fun. Yep. Like, I'm all about it.
Yeah.
And at Emmanuel, there's like this brick wall that was kind of right outside our dorm, and I would go and throw it, and then I'd try to catch it. So I learned how to play lacrosse in the old basketball gym at Emmanuel in the snow. Because when I first walked on,
this is like a comic book story.
It is
to like
wild.
Yeah.
And so I learned how to play lacrosse in a gym.
Yep.
And a basketball gym and a lacrosse ball do not go well together.
Yep.
Because when it bounces, you have it's like playing basketball on dirt.
Bing, bing, bing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to run around and catch it. It was awful. But ended up kind of, once I caught on to it, I fell in love with it. And I'm one of the type of people, when I fall in love with something, there's nothing going to stop me from figuring it out 100%.
That's awesome.
So I did golf and lacrosse for 1 year. So I played golf. That's what I went to Emmanuel to do.
Okay.
Played
so
golf.
that's how you got there.
That's how I got there. I was going to Millersville.
Yeah.
And I was headed that way, and my mom was like, Katie, you got this scholarship. Like, let's just try it for a year. And I was like, man, I don't want to go there. Like, I want to go off. Like, I was wanting to get the full
I get that.
college.
Get away from Elverton.
I had played basketball in summer camps at Georgia College, and I was like, I love the campus. I wanted to go there so bad. I had some friends that went there. So I can remember the night before I left, I was like, I still don't want to go. Went there. First day, my first roommate ever, still one of my best friends to this day. She actually just had a baby today. So we are still, congratulations to her. We are still really close. She lives in South Carolina now. She was from Pennsylvania. And when I tell you we lived in a room, and I promise she was like this big.
Oh, I know.
And when I tell you we were from two different worlds, she was from downtown Philadelphia, and I am from Fort Sumner, Georgia. Mm-hmm. And so it was a little adjustment there. Yeah, it was a little bit of adjustment. But after that first week, I fell in love with it, and I still to this day, I'm like, thank you for not making me go there, but
giving me the opportunity,
highly pushing me to make that decision. So I did golf the first year, and then the second year I did both, and then my coach came up to me at times like, I'll match your scholarship if you'll just do lacrosse, because
running ragged, dude.
Man, running ragged. I was getting on plane from Florida, coming back to play a lacrosse game, and then turn around and going back. Because, a golf tournament was 3 days.
Oh, yeah.
And a lacrosse game is
one.
Just right then.
Right then.
And so I'd play, practice round, come back, go back, come back. It was wild. And I went and sat my coach down, and I said, I need to talk to you. This is and I love golf.
Yeah.
Best sport ever.
Yeah.
Especially now. I took advantage, or I took for granted the time that I had back then to go play.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, any chance I'm getting, I'm like, Bruce, you want to go play golf? He's like, yeah, he's not a golfer. He's getting there. We're learning.
Really?
Yes. One of our first
days.
We
got you, bro.
Yes, we're going to teach you how to play.
We're going to go.
He's doing, he likes it now. It's fun.
Once you find the back of that ball, especially as a dude, and you send it.
He sends it.
Yeah.
He sends
I imagine. I don't imagine him taking a soft swing.
Yeah, he swings like a baseball bat.
Yes, that's where you're supposed to swing,
sir. It's
just
so much fun. What other sport can you just sit, spend time together, and play? Yes, there's going to be some days that aren't fun, but
somebody's going to roast me.
Somebody's
going to roast me for this, but I want to say it was Ben Hogan, who said that golf is a competitive walk through nature. And I love that.
I love that.
It's a competitive walk through nature. So you're hanging out, you're enjoying your time together, but you are playing a competitive sport.
Yes.
And I was like, that's it. That's what I'm doing.
And you don't have to you're supposed to be in shape to play golf, but it's not like
you can be leisurely.
Yes, you can just hang out, have a good time. You don't play 9 holes.
Yeah.
Play 9 holes. You want to play
there are
36?
Some people,
Let's do 36.
Some people play tennis the same way. They're not out there diving after the ball. They're just volleying and they're looking pretty and hanging out and enjoying themselves. I've seen some ritzy places in their tennis. They're not out there just trying to kill each other. They're just chilling. They're hanging out too. I've seen them. But yeah, growing up in Elberton was a huge blessing. Your travels in lacrosse, how far did you go? Where did you go?
So once I transferred over from golf to lacrosse, you have 4 years of eligibility for every sport.
Yes.
As long as you still have that's why I have a
Is
minor.
it for each sport?
Yes.
Individually?
Yes. Is what
I wish I'd have known things like this.
Yeah.
I
didn't know because, I had played golf by itself that first year. And so then by the 4th year, we don't redshirt or anything. So,
yeah,
it would have been, that'd have been it.
Yeah.
But I took, a semester off of lacrosse. I was doing my student teaching, things like that, and I was done.
Yeah.
Because I had done my 4th year. I was going to graduate. And my coach took me, this is a different coach at the time, and she's phenomenal.
So you started
besides
with
Coach Brady, one of the best coaches I've ever had.
Oh, that's high praises.
Yeah,
that's
she
awesome.
is phenomenal. She actually coaches at a college in Kentucky now. She knows
Congratulations.
She's good.
Yeah.
But she sat me down and she was like, "You got eligibility?" She's like, "All you gotta do is take one class." Just one class. She said, "Technically, you only have to have 3 credit hours, which is one class."
Right.
She was like, "As long as you keep your grades up, I just need you there." Hey, don't come after her. She don't work at Emmanuel anymore, but don't come after her because she said that.
Look,
and I called my mama. I was like, "I'm already done my student teaching. I can get a minor." And she's like, "Whatever, Katie. I thought you didn't want to go 5 years ago." So I took a victory lap.
Yeah.
Stayed that extra year. Actually, I was headed to Colorado. That was on my track. I was going to go down there, or not down there, over there for a couple years.
Is there a reason?
To teach snowboarding lessons. The Adamses took me to Snowmass when I was a kid. Fell in love with it. And I was going to go do that for a couple years, sow some wild oats, and then come back home.
I have a snowboard.
Really?
Me and Cole are going in a few weeks.
Well, I'm going next time you go. Yes, I love it.
How about, I didn't know.
Yes.
So many things.
So then I got a letter in the mail.
Yeah.
And got an offer to go play on the United States team for lacrosse. So went over there to Scotland, the United Kingdom, did all Ireland.
That's
Scotland,
so cool, dude.
Edinburgh.
Was it a tournament or was it just a friendly match of?
Well, no, there was
It was legitimate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
That's so cool. You played in a FIFA lacrosse tournament.
Yes, that's kind of what it was.
That's awesome.
And so we played every day, but then you got to tour every day too.
It was man.
So it's you would play in the mornings and then hang out the rest of the day and then have to be back to play the next morning.
What an experience.
So we did that right before my victory lap because I was done. I finished lacrosse.
Okay,
I went
so
and did
that's
that,
what that was.
And then when I came back,
gotcha.
My coach sat me down. She was like,
"Come on, one more time.
One more time." Because I thought that was it. That last game I played overseas, I was like, "I'm hanging the cleats up."
Yeah.
And then she sat me down, and I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna get them back down.
One more time.
Hang them back. Up again."
So you played for another year?
Yeah, another year, and then I graduated, and then moved home. Bristol had joined the military. So I get back from Scotland.
Yep.
Okay. And me and Bristol had Bristol and I had met and we were getting to know each other really well. And I knew over there, I was like, you know what? For me to miss somebody like this, it's time. Yep, it's time. Because I was always we just living our best lives, having a good time. Fun. Yeah, having fun, whatever. And
Bristol, I see you, G.
When I was over there, I was
I see you.
Yeah, he's the one.
I hear
It's time to go home. So I missed his 21st birthday. Okay, he's younger than I am. Mm-hmm. A little bit cougar there.
Hey.
So I came back and I took him out for his 21st birthday, and we were in Athens. And I go downstairs, pay the tab, and come back up, and he said, "I've been listening to the Marines." I was like, huh? What? This is not where I was going with big bombshell.
Yeah.
Big bombshell. Because I was done with college.
Yeah, you were getting ready for the next stages of life.
About coming home, not necessarily getting married right off, but thinking about coming home.
What's your plan?
Yeah,
you're a 5 and 10 year planner.
Yeah.
That's how you work.
And he's like, bombshell. Right then, I was like, okay. And then he said, but if you're not going to stay with me, I'm not going to do it.
Oh.
And I was like, well, that's
a
duh.
big, that's
like,
a big
I'm
thing.
not good. That's a huge thing for you to do. Like, that'd be like you telling me that I couldn't play ball.
Right.
And that's not how
that's not
I work. Like, I want you to do the things that you want to do because it's going to make you a better person. And it's something he's always wanted to do.
But he knew that to him, you were worth more than that.
Yes.
Which is a big thing. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Like, that takes a lot of...
I told him, I was like, I'm not going. I'm in love with you. I'm not going. He was like, what'd you say?
Hey!
I kind of dropped that in there all at the same time. And
well, since we're saying things.
Yeah, since we're real.
Since we're just talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then the next morning, I said, so what do you want to do today? He's like, no, Katie, like, I was serious. Like, I want to go to the recruiters and I want you to go with me. I was like, man, I thought you were kidding.
Yeah. Are
but
you
no,
sure?
it was the best thing he ever did.
That's awesome.
We met some awesome people. It was like when we had the Marine Corps ball, I loved it because all the wives would go. Yeah. And then like there were females that were in the unit as well, and I got to meet them and hang out with them. It was always fun.
That's cool.
So he did that, and then when he came back after like that 9-10 months time period, we got engaged, and then another year later we got married.
That's awesome.
So that was another reason I
his
stayed.
like training.
Oh yeah, since day one.
But I bet that wedding planning was fun. Was it all you? And I'm not lying because Caroline, my wife took care of it. She was like, you like this color or this color? And I'm like...
Bristol was like, I don't care.
Yeah. I was like, are you going to be there? Yeah. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
But it almost makes it easier because you don't have to like go against anything.
Yeah. It works out.
But my mom did all the decorating for our wedding, and she's got that.
Oh, she's got the touch.
She's got the touch.
She's got the touch.
She did all that for us. But as for like the colors and the planning and so me and my mom did it.
That's awesome.
And Bristol's like, just tell me where to be when.
That was me. It was like, where do I need to be and when do I need to be there?
I wish we could do that day all over again. Was it not so fun?
It was. I ain't gonna lie to you. If people out there have had wedding experiences that weren't all that grand, I'm sorry. Mine and Caroline's was a great day. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I got to hang around people that I still to this day care about and want, the best for. But the moment of like, I don't know, the moment of being there with everyone with my soon-to-be wife at the altar was a surreal moment.
Do you remember that part of it?
Yeah.
Really? Because I don't. I think I was panicked.
Not
panicked in a bad way, but I'm nervous. I'm a nervous person.
I was intentionally taking it in.
Really? I think I blacked out.
No, I was very intentional about that day because I took mental snapshots of moments that I thought that were important because I didn't want to forget them. Because I knew it was going to happen fast. I had been told 100 times.
Well, you should have told me that.
Somebody imparted that knowledge to me, and I took it to heart. They were like, "It's going to happen fast." It was like, "You're going to be up here. It's all going to be like boom, 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 boom. You're going to be dancing. Your mom's going to dance with you. You're going to go back, and then you're going to be in a car driving home like, wow, we just got married."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay."
I feel like that's how it went. It was
That's what happens for everybody. And they were like, "If you can, in the moments of transition, if you have a second, stop, look around, take it in." Because you're not going to get another moment.
I said I wish I would have stopped and turned and looked to see everybody out there. Yeah. Because, a lot of the people aren't here with us anymore. Yeah. Like, moved on to
reality.
See to Jesus.
Exactly.
I told my mom before, I was like, I think I'm going to write my own vows. She was like, Katie, are you sure? I was like, I think I can do it. And she's like, I'm not saying that you can't. She says, but I know you. Yeah. And I know you get nervous. So when I got up there, and so Coach Adams was our preacher.
That's awesome.
So my uncle was going to be our preacher, and he passed away 2 weeks before. And so he didn't make it. That was like the whole plan. He was like, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. And then he passed away right before. So Coach Adams, even in his speech, he was like, I'm pinch hitting for Uncle Phil. Yeah. And I got up there, and he was like, you have to say I do or whatever. You can hear me in the microphone. I was like, oh my God, I forgot I got to talk. And Bristol was like, well, thank God we didn't write our vows. Right. Because I couldn't even repeat after what Coach Adams was saying because I was so panicked. Yeah. And then he just got to giggling.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a good day though. It was a good day.
Yeah, I'm sure it was beautiful because was I there? I don't know if I was there.
At mine, you were.
I was.
I think you were.
I forget whose weddings I have been at
Same.
because I ain't gonna lie
We
to
went
you.
through a stage there where it was like every weekend you had a wedding.
I couldn't remember whose I was and wasn't at. I'll be honest with you. And if I didn't make it to your wedding, I still love you and hope the best for all the relationships out there.
Same.
But I do have to question whose I was and was not at because I don't
always
remember.
say going to the lake and going to the wedding. To a wedding is the greatest thing ever.
Yes.
There's just so much happiness. You can never have a bad day on the lake.
You can't have
because it's
bad
always
day.
a
You're
bad
right about
day
that.
than it is at work.
You're right. It's about like golf.
There's just so much happiness that
everybody's out there for a good time. It's almost like snowboarding because once you hit the mountain, I never knew there was a culture on the mountain until I went. There is a we're on the mountain together culture. Like you're all just out there on a frozen peak.
Somebody's like,
yes, there's a bitch sliding down. Everybody's like, yeah, hollering
like,
at.
hop up, you got it.
Exactly. Like we're all having fun. I was the guy that ate the worst. Like, dude, I had some moments where I thought I was gonna break my board type break. Like I was. And I don't know if I've told this story before. I'm glad I'm going to get the opportunity to. My first snowboarding experience, and after this I'm going to ask you a couple more questions and then I'll let you go. But my first snowboarding experience, my little brother took me to, not Snowshoe, but the one in North Carolina, Boone. Sugar
Mountain, yeah.
Sugar Mountain. We get up there.
I went skiing with him there before. Me and him in Ryan Whitfield.
Let me tell you what this kid did to me, right? We get out there, and it's me and him and a buddy of mine. Now, I'll lead in with, earlier this day, we went at the bottom, and Cole did give us this. He took us to the very bottom. We walked up like 30 yards. We strapped in, and he was like, this is how you stop. Turn around. This is how you stop. In those moments, my friend got hurt, cracked his tailbone, because he was cocky. He was like, I'm going to go out here and Tony Hawk it, blah, 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 blah. And ended up going straight down the hill, and when he went to stop, his feet like got out from under him. And you know, natural instinct, when your board starts to slide, you want to stand up. Mm-hmm. Well, he got as far away from the ground as he could and then shot himself straight towards it and caught ice when he hit. And I swear he cracked his tailbone. Mm. We don't know because he never went to the doctor. But he had to lay. Right. He had to lay in the room for the next 2 days while we were doing our thing and didn't get to board because he was in so much pain. But he was a champ about it, and I won't lie, his humor is one of the best. Because when he got hurt, we would come back and he was just laid up in the room.
Ready to have a good time.
And he was ready to have a good time, but when he would laugh, he would hurt. So it was like he was moving away from his own butt. And you can't run away from your...
Step on his ribs, everything all at once.
Dude, it's so painful to watch him, but he'd be laughing, and we'd be laughing at him because he's hurting while he's laughing like he was trying to get away from himself because you can't. Like, it's a pain you can't escape. Yeah. But every time he'd laugh, it'd make him hurt worse. Oh, my God, it was so bad. With that very night, after my friend got hurt, we went up to the top of Oma's Meadow. Left side of the runs, if you're standing at the bottom, it's the left side. The hotel's at the top, and you can basically step out of the hotel and you're at the top of Oma's Meadow. Yeah. It's a big, wide swath, and on the left side there are rocks, and the gondola poles run right down the center of it. And at the bottom is like a little loop-de-doo kind of deal. Yes.
I'm just waiting on what this story
is. It's... Whew.
You got cocky real quick.
No, I didn't. I got humbled without intentionally even getting in the situation. So my brother and I go out there, and he's like, it's the first day. We spent most of the time just learning. He was like, let's go ride. Like, let's go hit a run. We ain't hit a run yet. We've been here 4 hours. Let's go do something. Because Johnny got hurt, and we had to figure all that out. So we got there. He got hurt, and we immediately had to stop doing what we were doing and go figure out how to help Johnny.
I know Cole was thrilled.
He was. So we got up on the top of the mountain. He was like, all right, dude. Now, I'll preface this. After a full day of people riding on this mountain, it is 40 degrees.
Ice.
20 degrees and like 40-mile-an-hour winds. It is ice.
I'm about to say it's
like
straight ice.
Your board won't cut it ice. I didn't know anything about anything. This is my first run in my life down a mountain. I look at Cole and I'm like, it's hard packed, bro. Like, we're walking out there slipping and sliding like it's not snowy. He's like, you'll be fine, bro.
It's not powdery. Literally
verbatim, he goes, if you make it down this, you can go down anything. And I said, all right, off I go. I turn that board, and within 10 seconds, I feel like I'm doing 60 miles an hour. I am going
envisioning you.
I am full-fledged down this mountain. There are people on the gondola watching me knowing that I'm out of control. Because as I'm going down, I just kind of start trailing left, and I'm trying to gather myself, but I go to cut the board, and nothing grabs. I'm just sliding. So I straighten it out so I don't fall, and I'm heading right towards the gondola pole. The big concrete gondola pole, yes. I'm panicking at this point. And I'm coming up on it at like what feels like 60 miles an hour. I'm probably doing all of a good 30 or 40. Like, I'm flying down this hill. I this is your moment, Chaz. You're either going to crash into this hole and die, literally.
Like the cartoon,
I'm either going to crash right into it and split it, or I'm going to bank. So I leaned into it, and thank God my edge caught 5 yards from before I got to that pole, because there's orange fencing around the bottom of it, but it's all kind of dilapidated. Like, it's just there. I skid by that, and
if you get to that point, you're too close anyway.
I was way too close, and I was going way too fast. So I finally cut, and it catches that edge, and I shoot past that pole and go right over the berm of the next hill like Superman. Because it threw me. I caught the edge and then went right over the top of it, and I just went like this and flew down this hill. I felt like another 20 yards, and then smacked the ground and spun. And I heard people on the gondola go, ooh, like one of those people felt me hit the ground. I come sliding to a stop, and I'm just laying there, and I roll over, and if you've ever had a snowboard strapped to your feet, not the easiest thing in the world, especially after you get hurt. Breath knocked out of me. I'm sitting there like...
It's like when you catch it on the front and slut throws
I've
you
done
down.
That too.
Where you,
I've done that
been
too.
there, done that.
So I'm laying there, and then all the coal comes...
That's about right.
Pulls right up on me and like stops his board 3 feet from mine. He's like,
"You alright, bro?
You alright, bro?" I was like, "Bro, I about died." He looks dead in my face and goes, "You got 2 options. You can take your board off and walk halfway up the mountain, because that's about halfway is where you are, or you can keep it on your feet and go halfway down and get on the gondola." I'd never been on a gondola before either. This is all one experience.
So I will say the worst part is getting off the ski lift.
Yeah, I didn't know any of this.
The snowboard, it's so much easier on skis because you just stand up.
Yeah.
But when you're snowboarding and you only have 1 foot in and you're trying to... And then Bristol, he had never skied until we got together. So we went to Gatlinburg. I took him skiing for the first time at Gatlinburg, and it was straight ice.
Nice.
Straight ice. So he would get off, and then like I would be trying, and he'd cross in front of me. And I can't stop.
Yeah.
Because I have 1 foot in the board, and I'm like, I love you, but like,
get
out
off
of the
me.
way. Like, I'm going to run you over.
Me and Cole end up like doing that shoving match when we get off too. We do.
Yeah. He's got it figured out now though. We went to Snowmass, and it's like for real snow skiing there.
Nice.
And so it wasn't ice, and so he was able to learn.
Nice.
He went by me one time, and he was like 100 miles an hour. I was like, "Are you meaning to go that fast?" And he was like, "Yeah, I got it.
I'm enjoying
like,
it.
You do know you have to stop though as you're going 100 miles an hour.
Those things will hurt you, man. That mountain is unforgiving. How's your brother doing?
Great. You know, he is the vice president of economic development at Athens Tech.
Nope.
Yes.
Didn't know. I'm telling you, I don't mean detached. I haven't kept up with anybody.
That was hard.
I've been so busy and in my own little world. Like that's why I like doing this. I get to catch up and find out what everybody's doing.
He's married to one of the most phenomenal people ever. Her name is Rachel. She's beautiful.
No, I have met her.
Hair.
Can vouch. She was a coach in both T-ball and a soccer coach. Mm-hmm. And she was like the manager of the soccer team, managers meeting. Yes. She took control and got everybody what they needed. And I was like, she was like, yeah, me and Al McCall. I was like, this all makes perfect sense.
And they have the most 2 perfect kids.
Yeah, I was like
that because they're not mine, but like their kids are my whole world. Yeah. It's like Cole with yours. Like you get to be that aunt, uncle, whatever you want to be. So long, and you get to be like who they think you are. Yep. You know what I mean? Like your past, any of that does not matter. Yep. Because to them, it's like we're going to KK's house. Yep. Yeah. What you want? Some candy? Yeah. We won't tell your mama. Yep.
My kids are blessed to have the family unit, and that's why we moved back to Elberton. That was the whole reason I came back was because I wanted.
Both decided here.
Yeah. And I was like, very few opportunities like that exist for most people. Mm-hmm. And I was like, we should take advantage of it. Like, and it was right after, Mom had gone through her cancer thing. Me and Caroline were in Greenville. She was going through YFF4, working like night shifts, from going in at like midnight basically and working till like 8 a.m. and then getting off. And I was like, are we going to build a family this way? We were engaged and like, how are we going to do life? Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm not going to sell for ADT forever. Like, I'm not going to knock on doors and somebody's going to shoot me one day. Like, there's some real sketchy situations I end up in. So what I'm going to do is if I find a job or an opportunity that I feel like can do well, that's what I'm going to do. Yeah. So, me and Bray Seymour, he called me and was like, I need you to come work for me. I was like, you can't pay me enough to come work for you. As a joke. He was like, how much would it take? And I told him, and he ended up getting that number for me to come from Greenville to come down here and work like 4 days a week at Global Values to be in etching. And I had a background in it. I mean, Uncle Todd and like.
You've always been super artistic, anyways.
I like drawing, but I never thought of making a career of it. Like I never thought of like.
You're as good at it as you are.
I appreciate that. Like I know I am nowhere near. Like there's so many artists, even in this town, that are so mind-bogglingly good. It's crazy. I will profess that I am good in Photoshop now. Like I'm pretty good when it comes to computer, like. The digitizing and being bringing my imagination to life and me not having to sit there and draw every single line that's going into it, because there's some artists in this town that are freaking insane. I kind of want to get some of them on the podcast, so I don't want to name them by name.
Have you ever seen Patrick Adams' work? He's you know Elaine and Bull Bailey.
Yeah. So
he's married to their youngest daughter, and when I tell you an artist, that man can draw anything. Like you tell me you want this mural. Can you say it? Mural?
Yeah.
On your wall. He just can hand.
That's crazy.
He is phenomenal.
See, people that have that kind of talent, I envy because
you can draw like that too, though. I've seen your, like when we were in school, I used to see your doodles.
I appreciate
your doodles. My doodles would be like stickman, and yours would be like these extravagant designs.
I like abstract stuff. I've never been good with like portraits and faces and stuff like that, and now that's what I do, which is so weird. Like I had to become I had to get better. And David's told me, like my boss, he's like, you're a lot better at it than you give yourself credit for, because I've been doing it long enough.
Because you're humble.
Well, I've been doing it long enough now that it's repetition. Like you can tell when things don't look right, or your eyes attract to something. You're like, that just doesn't, like their face doesn't feel correct, if that makes sense. Like I'm not making this person look like themselves. I'm making them look different. And you can feel it. I don't know. It's a weird sensation in art when you can tell something's off and you can't tell what it is. Like your brain's telling you. It's like,
I've always said I wish I could be artistic and sing. And those are two talents that God did not put in my life.
Well, you couldn't have it all, Katie. Like
when I tell you the singing part of it, no.
You like to sing, though.
I do, and I jam out. If you ride by me in the car,
there it is. Enjoying yourself.
McCall, bless her heart, because she's in the back seat, and I know she's like, Mom, stop. But she can't tell me that yet.
She'll look.
So I'm going to keep doing it until she can tell me to stop.
It will be a fun thing one day. I guarantee it. Well, look, I appreciate you coming to hang out with me on Social Therapy.
Well, thank you for having me.
Can you tell me how you feel about our small little town, or is there anything that you could impart to our community that you would want to instill in anybody or in it? Because I won't lie, your book is inspiring. I enjoy going day to day and having a new challenge of being like, trying to improve someone else's day, and in doing so you improve your own, but you're not intentionally doing so. That is the sensations. That's what happens. That's the genuine what human interactions lead to when you do them this way. It's very well done. I've enjoyed it.
Because if anyone has read the book or is planning to
read please
the book,
plug
whatever,
that, please.
It is not written in like a very intellectual way. It is written, I want you to imagine we're sitting here having a conversation, and like when you're reading it, I'm talking to you.
Yes.
So it's not like this really extravagantly written, whatever.
It's
like
almost
me talking to you right now.
It feels like a little bit of a pep talk in the morning. That's what it feels like. It feels like a little pep talk. It feels like I'm reading it and it's like you have the opportunity to go be a better influence in the world outside of what you were going to do naturally. You can make an intentional moment of being good, and in doing so improve somebody else's day. And in being intentional, you become more aware of it. You're not just passively doing it, you're trying to be a better person, and that leads to you being a better person. And
that's
it makes
in all parts of life. I feel like if you're intentional in your relationship with your wife, as a father, your relationship with the Lord, your relationship at work, your relationship with your friends, being intentional is what's going to make it all work.
Yeah.
Because like I said, that's the whole kind of reason that I wrote the book, is we get so caught up in the hustle and bustle of life. We were on a trip back in November, and a guy was from Europe, and he says, let me tell you the difference between the European culture and the American culture. He said, in Europe, you work to live, and in America, you live to work. and that is 100%. Like, that is spot on, 100.
Nailed it.
But when you were talking earlier about being well off in money and things like that, like, yes, it's nice. It's nice to be a little bit more settled than we were 10 years ago.
Yes.
But I look at it as, you can't take that with you when you go.
No.
Yes, you can leave it for your kids and things like that, but I can assure you that, like, your kids would rather do things with you and spend time with you than have your money in their inheritance and things like that. I look at it as, like, rich is not a dollar amount of how many zeros you have in the bank. It's what you come home to. It's the people you surround yourself with. It's the town you live in.
Yeah.
That's the way that I kind of try to view it and have my perspective and kind of live.
Yeah, I agree.
And so, but what you were saying is, if I have anything.
No, that was beautiful, dude. That was so well put. Like, you
well,
nailed it. If you want to add to that, please do, because that was awesome. Like, being intentional and doing the right thing just because you can, you know?
It's like my 2 Bible verses. Okay, Matthew 6, and I get this from my dad because it's why it's my favorite.
Hit me.
Matthew 6 is like, do things for others, but not to be seen doing it. You do it for others because you want to impact others.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one is Proverbs 22, and it's a good name is better than riches or gold. And it's who you are as a person, how you carry yourself, and that is how I was raised. And that whole, my dad always says, you never forget where you come from. And that is a huge thing. And another thing is, somebody's always watching you. Always watching you.
You're influencing.
And I tell my students that. I used to tell my players that. I can think about when I was a kid, like, there was somebody in the basketball team, I was like, I'm going to be just like them. Kim Bray. I was like, I'm going to be just like Kim Bray when I grow up. I'm going to 100% be just like her. I'll never be the woman she is. But I'm going to try.
Look.
I'm going to try.
That's, my mother is a high standard, and I'm aiming the same way. So.
She's phenomenal. Phenomenal. But we're blessed. We're so lucky to have the jobs that we have and the opportunities that we have and the ability to walk and work, the ability to work, like things like that. We're so blessed to be thankful and just
count your blessings.
Yes, give when you can, love when you can. Don't worry about things that people do to bring you down.
If it doesn't directly affect you, don't let it affect you.
And if it doesn't bring you peace,
let it go.
It's not for you.
Let it go.
So.
I love it, Katie.
Well, thank you for having me.
Look,
I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
I appreciate it. I'll be honest.
Great.
I've been looking forward to this for quite some time. There's a few more things that we can do in this community, I think, as a unified group. I think there are some issues that we still can attack, and it's going to take people like you.
It's going to be like that forever.
I know. You know,
your little part, though.
Yeah, it's just a part of the cog.
You fix the wall in front of you, and
that's what you do.
It's the ripple, the endless ripple. You ever heard that?
No.
It's like the whole kindness thing. Think about you throw a rock in the water.
Butterfly effect.
Yes.
Got you.
Same thing. Yeah.
Follow.
Yeah.
As soon as you said ripple and rock in the water, I started working my brain through like...
You never know, because if you do something good for somebody else, they might pay it forward.
And I believe that wholeheartedly. And again, the influences of our parents in our lives are very, very lucky to have perspectives that I have. But Katie, you're a good human being.
I don't know about that, but it can always be better.
Thank you for being a part of our community. And thank you for dragging your husband here, too. And thank you for pitching.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for pitching that sales.
Hey, look, you
did
did good.
Sales tip there.
Absolutely. Well, this has been Social Therapy. Guys, thank y'all for hanging out with us. Y'all stay blessed.
Much love to you.
Absolutely.
If you want a copy of the book, get in touch with me.
Where can you find them? Also, where are they found?
You can find them on Amazon. But
Amazon.
Call me and
we love you.
Get one to you.
Support Katie. Go get her book on Amazon. We love you, Katie. Thank you for coming.
Y'all.
I want you guys to know that Social Therapy is going to be here for a while, and we're going to do our best to impact this community in the best way possible while also telling the craziest stories you've probably heard come out of this place. So, y'all have a good one and stay blessed. That was fun. Woo. That shit was hot. Appreciate it, man. I like playing music. It's one of my favorite things to do.